Check your work as I review the problems with you. You can take out a pen and check each step as I go to confirm that you showed all of your work. Step 1 is always to rewrite the question in sentence form, leaving a space for the answer. I wrote, Jeremy weighs blank pounds. The next step is to determine who or what is involved in the problem. This will help me decide whether to set the problem up as a comparison or a part-whole model. Jeremy is 15 pounds heavier than Mike. The word heavier tells me that I'm comparing two things. In this case, I'm comparing Jeremy's weight to Mike's weight. So I will set up a comparison model since I'm comparing two things. I'll label one bar J for Jeremy and the other M for Mike. Step 3 is to draw the unit bars. To do so, I want to read the information in the problem one line at a time, labeling as I go. I'll draw a bar to represent Jeremy, and since I'm told that he is 15 pounds heavier than Mike, I'll draw a shorter bar for Mike. I'll draw a dotted line coming up from the end of Mike's bar to illustrate and label how much heavier Jeremy is than Mike. The first sentence of the problem states that Jeremy's 15 pounds heavier, so I'll label this on my bar. I've filled in all information from the first sentence, so I'm going to go on to the next sentence, labeling as I go. The total weight of the two boys is 171 pounds. So now I can label that off to the side, showing that Jeremy and Mike weigh 171 pounds altogether. Finally, I can read my last sentence and fill in the question mark, which is what I'm trying to find by solving the problem. I'm asked, how much does Jeremy weigh? So my question mark will go over the bar representing Jeremy's weight. And now I can solve. I want to find Jeremy's weight, and I know that his weight is 15 pounds heavier than Mike's. But I don't know what the rest of his bar is. I only have the 15 pounds labeled. I have to figure out what this section is. And to do that, I have to take away the extra 15 from 171 so that I'm left with 2 equal bars. So I will start by subtracting. 171 minus 15 is 156. Now that would be 2 equal bars, just Jeremy's up to this part and Mike's bar. If I want to find just one of those units, I have to divide by 2. So my next step is going to be to divide 156 by 2, which is 78. So that means that this section of Jeremy's bar is 78 and Mike's bar is 78. But I want to find all of Jeremy's weight. So that means that I have to add 15 pounds to 78 because I want to know all of Jeremy's weight. So my next step will be to add 78 and 15, which equals 93. So Jeremy weighs 93 pounds. And finally, I'll put that into my sentence and make sure that that seems reasonable. I'm going to start this problem the same way that we start them all, by rewriting the question in sentence form, leaving a space for the answer. My sentence is, there are blank unsharpened pencils. Now I'm going to determine the who or what that is involved in the problem. In this case, I know we're talking about pencils and that there are thrice as many, which means 3 times as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. So that means that I'm comparing sharpened pencils to unsharpened pencils. So I've labeled that on the side for each bar. Now I can begin drawing the unit bars. Again, I'll take it one line at a time. The first line says, there are 1,224 pencils in Mrs. Queso's classroom. That's the total amount, but I don't have the bars drawn yet. So I'm going to hold that to the side and label that after I make my bars. I'll go to the next sentence to see if that information can help me create the bars for sharpened pencils and unsharpened pencils. It says there are thrice as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. Thrice as many means 3 times as many. So when I draw my unit bar for unsharpened pencils, I'm going to want to make 3 that are that size to show 3 times as many, and 1 of the same size for sharpened pencils. Now I'm illustrating that there are 3 times as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. Now that I have my bars labeled, I can label the total off to the side, 1,224 pencils in all. Now I can read the final sentence and mark my question mark, which is what I'm solving the problem to find. How many unsharpened pencils are there? So my question mark is going to go on the unsharpened pencils. And now I can solve. I have 4 units of equal size that equal 1,224. So my first step is going to be to find 1 unit. If I divide the total by 4, I can find what 1 unit in the bar equals. It would be 306. That means that each unit is 306 pencils. Now I can find out how many unsharpened pencils there are. If I multiply 306 by 3, I will find out the total of unsharpened pencils. When I multiply that, I get 918. So I can cross off my question mark, write 918, and put that in my answer. There are 918 unsharpened pencils. And remember to check that it seems reasonable. Model. As always, I begin solving by turning my question into a sentence, leaving a blank for the answer. Now I'm going to read it one line at a time, filling in information as I go. It says Jessica has thrice as many Jolly Ranchers as Lennox. As many as indicates that this is a comparison model. In this case, I'm comparing Jessica's Jolly Ranchers to Lennox's Jolly Ranchers. It says she has twice as many as Lennox. So if Lennox has 1 unit, Jessica has 3 units. It also says that they will each have 150 in the end. We know that they're starting with the same amount that they're going to end with. Jessica just has more than Lennox and will have to give some of hers away. So if they're going to end up with 150 each, I can use that information to label the total because they're going to start with the same amount. 150 each means that they'll end with a total of 300, and that means that they're starting with 300 as well, since Jessica's just giving some of hers away. Now I can begin to solve. I can see that up to this point, Jessica's bar and Lennox's bar are equal. The 2 extra units to the right of that dotted line are the extra that Jessica has. And since it's only 2 units, half of 2 is 1. So if she gives 1 of those units away, Lennox would have the same amount as her. So I want to find that dark blue unit. I'm going to label that with a question mark. I started with 4 units. Remember, that blue unit is being moved from Jessica to Lennox. So it doesn't count as 2 units. That's the same unit that's just being moved to show that they would end up with an equal amount. If we have a total of 300 Jolly Ranchers and there were 4 units, to find out the quantity in each unit, I could divide 300 divided by 4, which is 75. So that means that there's 75 Jolly Ranchers in each unit. So now I only need to find 1 unit, so I've found my question mark. I found what I was searching for. 75 Jolly Ranchers would be given to Lennox. And now I can fill that into my sentence as well. Okay, last problem. I've already begun by writing my sentence down at the bottom. And I've read the sentence completely, looking for key words to tell me if this is a part whole or a comparison model. I saw the words 4 times as many cups in the second sentence. As many as indicates a comparison. Specifically, I'm comparing Kathy, Isabella, and Claire and the number of cups of lemonade that they've sold. So I'm going to put their names off to the side. Now I can fill in information as I go. It says Kathy sold 164 cups of lemonade. And I know that she sold 4 times as many cups as Isabella. So if Isabella has 1 unit, Kathy will have 4 units. And we're told that she sold 164. The next line of information says that Claire sold 30 cups more than Isabella. So that means that Claire's bar is going to be a little longer than Isabella's, and the extra should be labeled 30 for 30 cups of lemonade more. I'm asked how many cups of lemonade did Kathy, Isabella, and Claire sell in all? So my question mark is going to be off to the side. Now I can begin solving. I have everything labeled from the information given in the problem. My first step is going to be to find 1 unit. If I know that 4 units equal 164 cups of lemonade, I can find 1 unit by dividing 164 by 4. That means that each unit in Kathy's bar is 41 cups of lemonade. Now I can label a couple more things here, because 1 unit in Isabella's bar is the same as 1 unit in Kathy's bar. So that means that Isabella's bar is also 41 cups of lemonade. And then if you take a look at Claire's, we have the 30 extra labeled, but we know up to that dotted line, Isabella and Claire's bars are the same. So I could also label that 41 cups of lemonade. Now I have every single piece of the bar filled in and I just need to find the total. I have 6 units of 41. So I'm going to multiply. 41 times 6 equals 246. But that's not my answer yet. Remember, Claire has 30 more than Isabella. So we have this section labeled 30. I need to make sure to add that into my total. So I'm going to add 246 plus 30 to get a total of 276. Altogether, they sold 276 cups of lemonade. I can put that in my sentence and now check that it seems reasonable.